Commissioners' special meeting for Thursday, March 12th, 2020, 7 p.m. Roll call, Manager Silka.
Commissioner Stump.
Here.
Commissioner Atwood.
Here.
Commissioner Blasco.
Here.
Commissioner Zona.
Here.
Commissioner Bevan.
Here.
Commissioner Gass.
Here.
Commissioner Higas.
Here. Could everyone please stand and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If any residents would like to speak tonight, they could sign the book at the podium. All right, let the record reflect no residents' response tonight. Work session discussion topics, Manager Silka.
Okay, the first item for discussion is the 2020 milling and resurfacing and the 2020 fiber mat and resealing bids. I've asked Bob Robinson, our engineer who does this, to come in and maybe give a brief explanation and answer any questions you may have of the bid memorandum.
Pleasure to be here. Glad to give you an update on how we got to where we're at here. The township, we have $1.38 million budgeted for the 2020 road improvement program. That includes the milling resurfacing, the alternate treatment, which we primarily call fiber mat, and crack sealing. Our 3-year-old roads, we crack seal. The fiber mat treatment, we look at more to our rural roads, and the milling resurfacing, we base it on the robotic program that we have, a five-year program. This year, during the design process and going out and getting measurements and getting quantities for our milling resurfacing contract, the quantities that we field measured were a little bit greater than what we had in our GIS. So we, in order to have some financial flexibility, we had to pull a road out of the base bid and put it as an ad alternate and wait to see if we had enough money to do that. And that was Lancelot Drive. As the bidding process continued, we typically give about 30 days for contractors to review the plans and questions before the bid opening. But about 2 weeks into the bid process, one of the contractors said, "Hey, PennDOT is just making revisions to their Bible. We call this the 408 specifications." And they were changing the specifications on our standard 9.5 millimeter wearing course. They were requiring our fine grade wearing course to be what's called a virgin mix, not allowing any RAP. RAP being an acronym for recycled asphalt pavement. When we mill our roads, they take the RAP back to the plants, and it's recycled. And our specifications allowed up to 12% RAP into the mix. Well, they were changing that, and our 9.5 millimeter fine grade asphalt, which allowed 12% mix, was going to be a completely virgin mix, was going to add about $10 per ton. $10 a ton stretched out over our quantities was about $150,000. And I talked to Jeff about this, and that hit us pretty hard. So what we did, we took a step backwards 5 years. 5 years ago, we weren't real happy with the PennDOT Super Pave regular 9.5 millimeter mix, and we met with contractors, talked to laboratory people from Lane and Lindy, the two biggest asphalt suppliers in the area. And what they suggested that we go with our 9.5 millimeter fine grade mix that had a little more oil, a little more sand, a little more durability. They said it was going to add about $5 per ton, but we really never saw this $5 per ton. But we changed our specs to it, and we've been happy with the last 5 years. But this now requiring, and I'm not sure why they did this, requiring a virgin mix and adding $10 a ton as projected, we had to do something to give us, again, financial flexibility. So we backed off our specifications. We put the mix that we had in 5 years ago, and we put provisions for an add option of taking for switching the 9.5 millimeter to the upgrade mix, and the actual bid price from our low bidder, which was Tresco, was $6 a ton. But overall, we don't have enough money in our budget to do the upgraded mix and the alternates, and we're still about $50,000 short. So what I'm recommending that we do is, of course, award the FiberMat road sealing and asphalt joint and crack sealing program to Russell Standard in amount of $109,620.50. They were the low bid. And award the 2020 milling and resurfacing program to Tresco Paving for their base bid of $1,170,897.50, plus the 9.5 millimeter upgrade, which was $73,000, for a total a price of $1,244,733.50. We'll still have about $20,000 some odd dollars freeboard. And then during the pre-construction meeting that we will have on an annual basis with our contractor, we would encourage them to put our possible add alternate streets, Lancelot Drive, on the tail end of their list, and see if we, depending on how the quantities turn out, if we have enough money left over to do that at the time, and if so, we would do that as a change order. Two big variables: base bid, or the 25 millimeter base repair is a big variable. I have 4% in the contract, and the quantities in for 4% for base repair of the total area of the roads. In past historical records, we varied from 1% to 7%. And the way we determine the base repair, we do a test called a proof roll. After we mill the roads, we load up a truck and we run it on the roads about 5 miles per hour, and we watch the pavement and look for failures in the pavement. If we see failures, then we mark it, and then we come back and do a base repair. Again, historical 1 to 7%. In the past, we have 4%. Each percent of base repairs, based on the unit prices, are worth about $20,000. So we could get a little closer, be able to do Lancelot Drive if we're better than we anticipated under the base repair. Furthermore, there's something called the escalator clause in PennDOT. As we know, it looks like the price of oil is tanking. PennDOT puts out an index every month of their cost per ton of oil. It's around $500 a ton. If from the time of the bid, which was February, to the time they place the asphalt, which will probably be August, September, early October, if that index fluctuates by more than 10%, goes up, then we owe our contractor a price reduction or price increase. 2 years ago, I think we had to pay Tresco about $100,000 additional above and beyond the contract price because of the escalator. But it's curious that it looks like oil is really going down, and we would compare the cost of the oil on the index between from the time it's bid, which is in February, to August, September. If it's less than 10%, if it goes down 15%, then we're subject to a rebate of that 15%. Not 15 minus the 10, but actually the full, it has to be at least a full 10%. So we need to keep our eyes ears open on that. But those are my recommendations, and I think that'll give us the best flexibility, and hopefully we can do Lancelot Drive. But again, the two biggest variables will be the price, the escalator clause, and the base repair.
Thank you. Any questions? All right, appreciate it. Thanks.
Sure.
Okay, the second issue I want to talk about is a process that I'd like to engage on, and it is a long process. It is taking a look at our comprehensive plan and our current zoning ordinance. To follow good planning principles, in order to modify your zoning ordinance, you should really update your comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan should be updated every 5 years or so. Our last adopted comprehensive plan was March of 2000, so it's, we're coming up in 20 years, and it's as was in the day, it's a big voluminous document with a lot of stuff nobody ever reads. Comprehensive plans now come almost to magazine style. They've taken out of a lot of the old data and statistics that nobody reads, kind of really gears it into addressing each of the issues. And then once you get that process done, you dovetail that into making sure your zoning ordinance allows you to fulfill your development goal. The comprehensive plan steers your development. And as we enter into the latter part of this, this decade, you're going to see a lot of changes in the way we develop. We have a commercial corridor, commercial big box stores. Well, those are changing. I mean, people aren't developing retail anymore, or if they do, it's mixed use, higher density, with professional, with residential, with retail. So you get more bang for your buck, and we have to make sure that our zoning ordinance allows us to do that without going through the process of, zoning hearing board. Then you have sporadic zoning variances. So that gives us a good plan. What I'd like to do is the state does have a good program. It's called the Municipal Assistance Planning Grant, the MAP grant, which funds up to 50% of the process. It's difficult to get grants for planning that are single municipality, but I've done it before to show that we're actually in a redevelopment phase. We're not in a development phase, and we have properties out there that we have to get reused. I was successful in working with the planning folks at the state to get a single one for Robinson Township, which is sort of similar to North Huntington. It's primarily commercial and retail that's changing into mixed use and residential. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to apply for that grant and to see if we can get the grant. Then from there we would engage a consultant to help do the comprehensive plan and then dovetail into the zoning ordinance. The good part is the zoning ordinance has already been worked on. So it's been sitting in a drawer for a couple of years. So we're kind of ahead of the curve there. We just have to dust it off and kind of update it. There's probably some things that aren't in there that has changed. I think the marijuana manufacturing may not be in there depending on when it was. And so some of the other changes in zoning, and also some of the mixed use that we want to see, maybe some additional overlay districts. So that's a process that's going to involve in, and it's an engaging process. The comprehensive planning process engages the Board of Commissioners, the Planning Commission, and the public. Kind of works as a triumvirate to come up with the vision of the township and then how to get there. And that's a roadmap. So in the next coming meetings, I'm going to kind of share a format that I've come with using the use of a steering committee to kind of keep the process going while keeping all the boards involved, knowing that it's hard to get 12 board members together in any room, but to work it through work sessions through the Board of Commissioners, the Planning Commission, and then the public and then joint meetings. It's a process that can be refined, streamlined, because sometimes these can linger on for years if everybody's not engaged coming to the meeting. So it's a process I want to walk with you through. I think you're going to find it's going to be an eye-opening experience. It's taking a snapshot at 5,000 feet. Hey, this is where we are. Figuring out where we want to go to, and then making sure the steps are there to get us to our end point. So this is more just informational right now, but it's a process. I'm going to get the grant application in. A resolution will be coming in probably to authorize the application in the next month or two. But I just want to keep you, involved in this process.
Any questions for Jeff on that?
This isn't going to happen overnight. You could see this. This is going to take more than a year. It's going to take a while. Just so you understand that. But again, it's one of the more important things that you're gonna do as a board member.
Okay, if anybody's turned on a TV or radio or, picked up any periodical, there's a pandemic right now of the coronavirus, the COVID-19. I just kind of want to update the board and the public a little bit of how operationally the township is addressing this, realizing that we're not a public health organization. We're looking at it strictly as a business continuity planning effort. We have, through the Emergency Management Agency, activated a work group that meets weekly, made up of EMS, fire, township, school district, and emergency management planning staff. And we're constantly monitoring the dispatches from the CDC and the DOH and PEMA, realizing that we're doing this to be prepared and not panic. It's out there, everybody's doing it, and if you take a look at the guidance from the CDC, a lot of it is common sense. Wash your hands, sanitize your surfaces, don't touch your face, don't be around people too close, limit. So, certain little things like not shaking hands, it's kind of, reconfiguring how we meet. We've actually cornered the market in Westmoreland County on bleach wipes, bleach spray. There are supply chain problems because our vendors can't provide us rubber gloves, Clorox wipes, etc. So what I did is I had some of our staff go on shopping sprees. We went to Walmart, went to Costco, went to Busy Beaver, went to Dollar Generals. We went to all the stores and found what we can. So we do have a supply. I mean, how long is it going to last? I don't know. But what we're doing is we're taking a common sense approach, but at the same time, we do have a business continuity plan in place that'll tell us how we're going to interact if we see a cluster of the virus within our staff, within our community, within our county. And so we can work accordingly to make sure that we have critical operations, but at the same time be wary so we don't spread infection. I know that Shelley Buchanan, the tax collector, she did institute today that she's not going to take tax collections at the window until the end of the discount period where she has to. And what we're trying to do is, there is a high risk population of 60 plus, and then those 60 plus with, other health features health issues are at higher risk. So what we're asking, to be smart, the township is available by email, by phone, by fax. If you don't have to come in, don't come in. I mean, don't. Every time you interact, you open yourself up to catching or spreading something, whether it be common flu, whether it be coronavirus, whether it be any kind of gunk that's floating around. The great thing about the modern era is we don't have to be face-to-face to do 80% of our mundane tasks. We're set up to do it, and we urge people to do it that way. But I just want to let the board know and everyone that we are prepared, we are monitoring the situation, and the governor did pass a declaration of an emergency declaration that kind of gives us the opportunity, if we need to waive purchasing requirements, to combat what's needed. If we do need a local declaration, that'll come to the board. But we're hoping everything's going to pass before that. We're operating as is. We're not enacting any emergency purchasing. Not that it's going to do any good. The vendors don't have any stock anyway. So we're going to do what we can do to stay ahead of it and consume the information. That if you're a sports fan, you'll know that every 5 minutes today another league canceled. So and then we're getting the same information on other events, and we're probably going to curtail sending people to training for a while just to keep them out of the mix, especially out east where the cluster seems to be more prevalent than the western part of the state. And just want to let you know that that's what we're doing.
All right. Any questions for Jeff on that one? I appreciate the work.
Thank you. And the last issue, I just want to update the board on the Pennsylvania League of Municipalities. They have district meetings every year that are free events to members, the board members, and to the key staff. This year, it is at the furthest distance it possibly could be. It's at Indiana, Pennsylvania, at the Hilton Garden on April 21st, if it goes on. But I would really like if you could try to attend there. It's a great networking with other league members and municipal members within our district and our association, and there's always excellent information that comes out of that. And that's all I have.
Chances are that will be closed. I know they just canceled Allegheny County League of Municipalities today,
Oh.
up at Seven Springs, so I don't think you're gonna be going, but who knows?
And I know the Birds Association just canceled all their in-person training for the next month. That's all I have.
All right. Any other questions for Manager Silkin? All right, thanks. Plan and engineering topics, Mr. Fonzie.
Yes, I have two boundary line revisions tonight. The first is S2 2020, the Cinetic Plan. This is a boundary line revision between three lots. George and Mary Jo Stanesik actually own all three. It's at the intersection of Murraysville Road and Winchester Roads. This is the existing configuration right now. The Stanesiks live in the house on the blue parcel there. They own a house on the yellow parcel, and the red parcel is vacant. So what they want to do is consolidate from three lots into two, which is this configuration right now. So their home lot on the blue gains about 2 acres, and the yellow lot that you see is rated the bare minimum size for an R4 district. So they're rated the 40,000 square foot marker. No real issues. This was tabled at the February Planning Commission meeting because the surveyor and the applicant weren't in agreement on how the yellow lot was drawn, so that was ironed out, and that's why it's before you tonight. The Planning Commission recommended it with no conditions at their meeting this month. Does anybody have any questions on this one? There's a shot of aerial photography there with the lots on top of it. The last plan is the Sobeck Shasko Bauer plan. This is another boundary line revision between 4 lots. One of them is vacant. The Sobecks live on Wilshire Drive on the yellow lot. They own the green lot, which is vacant. The Bowers are next door to the Sobecks on Wilshire, and the Shaskos live on McCannon on the blue lot. And what the Sobecks are trying to do is downsize their existing 2 lots, and the other 2 properties are going to acquire some land through this. So as you can see, the Bauer lot, they added onto their rear property in a sense. There is a little flag there, but it's the 25-foot minimum, so it is a legal lot per the zoning ordinance. And the Shaskos added a little bit more, almost 2 acres to their rear lot. And the Sobeck existing house in the yellow got a little smaller, and the vacant lot is smaller as well, but still legal. The Planning Commission recommended this with approval, or recommended it for approval with no conditions. I also have no issues with it. Do you guys have any questions?
Thanks.
That's all I have.
All right. Doesn't look like we have any old business tonight. Any further board comments? Not seeing any. I just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor by state and I.
Aye.
Opposed. Meeting adjourned at 7:23. Executive session to follow and talk about personnel updates and legal matters, as well as we conducted a executive session before the meeting about personnel matters.